world surrounded by franchises, reboots, and shared universes. An elite team of podcasters will risk body and soul to investigate the depths of intellectual properties, one multiverse, subgenre, and trend at a time. Who are we? We're the IP Squad.
Welcome back to the IP Squad and our ongoing investigation into films based on Sherlock Holmes. I'm John Campbell. Of course, my partners for this investigation are the Jones boys. We've got Brendan Jones.
Reporting.
And Robin Jones.
Hey, John, let me just take a second to thank you again for this opportunity. I just want to say, when I said 2 episodes ago that I thought Jack Lemmon was bullshit, I thought you were going to let me go after that.
You know what?
And
There
the
was a
fact that you kept me
conversation
on.
with HR about that, actually, yeah.
Okay, good. And today, before we start recording, when I said Save the Tiger would have been better with William Wyndham.
Oh,
instead of
yeah.
Jack
Brendan,
Lemmon.
you weren't here for
And
that
you literally
comment.
spit up your liquid through your nose.
What is he talking about?
You
I
just
gotta
keep
say,
doubling and tripling down on this.
Yeah.
he's a good piano player, by the way.
Oh,
Jack
my
Lemmon.
God.
Anyway, what is
Really?
I'm curious, what backdoor pilot are we doing this week, Robin?
Oh, this was Jack Lemmon.
Oh, Jack Lemmon is bullshit. Okay, yeah.
Oh, why do you have... I was feeling, okay. And then you have to go there. Anyway,
I'm very excited, John. I'm very excited to talk about this episode today.
Me too.
And I didn't come up with a dumb spinoff podcast title
amazing.
because
just a
my hot take for what we're talking about today, the 7% Solution,
Yes.
directed by the director of my second favorite film of all time,
Yes.
Herbert Ross,
Herbert Ross.
is that so far
Mm-hmm.
this is,
Mm-hmm.
with one minor, tiny exception, my favorite of all the Sherlock Holmes movies we've watched.
I would concur.
It just checked almost all the boxes.
I would agree.
I think if you can get through Robert Duvall's very studied attack on a British accent,
Yeah.
It's very
you
studied,
will
is accurate.
enjoy the entirety of it. Because
It
I
is-
think overall it moves like a train. It is so great.
I was like
I
a
love
train. I see what you did there.
I've always
You know,
I agree. I've always been a huge fan. This has always been one of my favorites. I love this movie and the book as well. But the Duvall of it all, which is actually the backdoor pilot we are doing, is the Duvall. Of it.
Yeah.
But
Duvall.
yeah,
I was going to actually do one called Who Radley. Is that not going to...
that could be the title of each episode. Has its own title. Yeah,
You Radley.
You Radley.
Who Radley.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, look, Robert Duvall, one of the greatest actors
One
of
of the
all
greatest.
time.
100%.
Love Robert Duvall. He's not bad
Not
in this
bullshit,
movie,
Robert Duvall,
but
not
it's
bullshit.
and I agree about the studied British accent. It's not that it's bad. It's just weird. It's really, really weird to see him in this context
my
and
wife
hear
was
him.
just like,
very
it's hard to
Yeah.
realize. It's hard to equate that voice is coming out of that
Because
guy.
he's just such a known presence in American cinema.
But within 5 minutes of the movie,
Mhm.
you adjust.
Yeah, because he
If
is
you can
good.
get it. It always takes me 2 or 3 scenes. I haven't seen this probably in 20 years, but
Yeah, it's been a while.
God damn this thing, so
It's great. I mean,
It's a
I of
wonderful
course
movie.
have nitpicks, but not source material nitpicks. I mean, just
Well,
film wise,
Because it
is
so
another-
faithful to its own source material, of course. Yes.
yeah, but it's another divided film where it really has a thing where it clicks and becomes a different kind of movie, and I prefer the first half, which is so intense and dark and exploratory, and then it becomes sort of like the wacky romp mystery with more quipping and a train sequence, which I do think goes on too long.
No, what? No, yeah, I'm Team Robin on this one. The train sequence.
No. The parts that work are obviously that they work. It's just there's a lot of I would have trimmed it and
I will say, okay, Robin and I both have the Shout Factory Blu-ray of this, and we both watched the interview with Nicholas Meyer on there, which I think is very good. It's like a 20-minute conversation with Nick Meyer. It's just him. And I think he would be in agreement with you, Brendan. One of the things he and Herbert Ross, according to him, really fought about was he wanted to tighten this thing. He goes, I want to make it more cinematic. I want to really, cut down a lot of the talkier parts and move the thing along and get it going. And Herbert Ross was like,
talkier parts.
Ross was like, don't change a thing. Do the book exactly. People love the book. Yeah. Why would you change it? And Nick Meyer was like, well, because people have read the book. I want to basically be like, here's, second draft for me, adapting my own book. And Herbert Ross was like, no, just do the book. It's great. It's a great book.
The final product, I don't have. I mean, these are, when I say nitpicks, it's not complaints. It's like films I love. I can still say, this is what I would have done, or this part didn't work for me. I love this movie, and this, so far, if you're going outside, because this is still fan fiction, if you're going outside of
anything sorry, just quickly, Brendan, would you say anything not Doyle is fan fiction? I'm actually getting a definite,
Yeah, I mean, but I include film adaptations of Doyle as not being fan fiction because they are adapting the original. Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. So
in other words, I would agree. This is probably the best Sherlock Holmes that we've seen so far, and I love this movie. Nicole Williamson is not my ideal Sherlock by any means, but
he's very good.
What he brings to this, and this would be the kind of story where you're going to want that guy. It's because of the intensity and the weaknesses and the thing about the addiction. He rules this part, and I've always loved that dude's voice. Where he can take that voice is
Oh, I mean an amazing
it rolls
actor.
And it has gravitas, but when he wants to go up and weird, he goes up and weird, just like when he did Merlin. You're like, what the hell are you doing?
God.
This is in that period where he is doing this, and he is playing the murderer who loves old movies and Columbo. And he is playing
a great
the
Columbo.
Cincinnati Gestapo leader in The Cheap Detective. And it's all within this period.
Kind of one of the I always feel like he had this run of being in all these great performances and stuff, but yet isn't really spoken of nearly as much as a lot of his contemporaries, other British sort of leading men of the time.
That's because Evan Handler, I think that's that guy's name, the bald actor from Sex and the City.
That is his name,
sued to have people stop talking about Nicole Williamson after the horrible experience, traumatic experience he had co-starring with him in the original cast of I Hate Hamlet on Broadway.
Yeah.
Because they kept hitting him on the ass with a flat of a blade.
Yeah.
He kept hitting him on the ass with a sword.
Yeah. I mean, look, I do think his personality and difficulty is a big reason why he stopped being cast and stuff eventually.
He's also another one of the great British actors who, did do film and television, but was primarily stage guy.
Yeah.
And stage people will always be talked about reverently, but within that circle of people who care about theater.
Yeah.
And so he has iconic film roles, but really it's like that everyone would remember.
In that
you're like, oh, he had a much longer career.
In that interview with Meyer, he does talk about when Herbert Ross was like, what do you think about Nicole Williams? He goes, I had just seen him in Hamlet on stage. I said, oh my God.
Right.
Oh my God, of course.
And Nicholas Meyer was a huge Shakespeare fan as much as a Sherlock Holmes fan.
Oh yeah, because he does talk about just slobbering over Laurence Olivier when he was on set, right? And just you are responsible for bringing me to my greatest love, which is William Shakespeare. Which I'm like, really? I don't see that. No, I see that in literally everything he's ever written.
Of course, because he shoves quotes and callbacks to Shakespeare in everything he does.
And Star Trek.
Oh yeah. But I mean, that's the parlance of Star Trek. As the great Bard once said. But
it's so much better in the original Klingon, don't you find?
Yeah. Oh, don't poke the bear on that one, Robin.
Don't even.
Because if I start talking about
Murder by Decree, I'm going to be trotting out some more Christopher Plummer. So be ready.
General Chang is one of the great Star Trek villains.
My God.
And Star Trek 6 also is not only a great Star Trek movie, but it is actually a great Sherlock Holmes movie.
Yes.
But I do love that he's finally just like, you know what? I do Star Trek and I do Sherlock Holmes. Let me just make one movie of this both. Spock is Sherlock Holmes now.
Spock is Holmes.
Yeah, and he even quotes Holmes in it.
And
Spock
quotes
does.
and uses the same quote
that's in this.
That is in 7%
yes.
Solution.
Whatever remains over in problem must be the truth. Meyer does say though that he wrote this when he was writing the screenplay. He really wanted Peter O'Toole as Sherlock Holmes. That was who he really wanted. Is like, you got to get O'Toole, and Herbert Ross had just worked with.
Holmes should only be embodied by problematic alcoholics.
Well, that was Herbert Ross had just worked with Pete O'Toole and did not have a good experience. It's like, maybe we don't. But then unfortunately they get a guy who seemingly was maybe also kind of difficult. But yeah. Well, I do think that for this Holmes, that makes sense, right? He's writing a damaged, darker Holmes.
I'm going to argue against my beloved brother, who I love like a brother, a bit, in that I think both of them organically, and we're talking about, there are two basic cases within this movie. One is Sherlock Holmes' cocaine addiction.
Yes.
And two is a case that they kind of take on not just as a distraction, but more to get Holmes back with a sense of confidence and purpose. That has to do with one of Freud's other patients. And I believe that they work very well organically. You can break the film up into two parts, but
it's a tone shift more than, because yes, organically the mystery comes out, or what they're going to solve comes out of connections, and it's happenstance actually, but still, it's not that suddenly you could literally say the end and move on, but it is the tone shift, which is also kind of important. I do understand that the whole idea is we see Holmes at his worst. We see him shaky and uncertain, and then he is exactly Holmes as you want him to be by the end. So, yeah, you kind of do want him like, he's back. However, what I find to be the most refreshing part of the story, which is the original thing, because Nicholas Meyer can write a straightforward Sherlock Holmes adventure.
Of course.
But he decided to, and I love how this could fit. That's so nice.
I was going to say,
have fan fiction that
Nick Meyer, I feel like, is of your ilk, Brendan, is a guy who loves the canon, loves the non-destructive fan fiction, right?
You could be sitting there going like, wait, but Moriarty is so important in the stories, and you're like going, but then after Rickenbach falls, he's gone. And here's the whole thing about, what if it really was the demon of his mind, his obsession, and poor Moriarty was just this guy.
Yeah.
And then once he realizes that himself, and then he's like, I'm going to go take a 3-year break, which of course is what happens after the final problem. And he comes back 3 years later. It's like, yeah, this all fits. And he's like, what should I tell the readers? He's like, yeah, tell them that I was killed by my mathematics professor.
Yeah.
It's like, and it's on them if they believe it. And you're like, oh God, that's so great.
Oh, absolutely.
Right. The well, what he says is they'll never believe it anyway, which is
they'll never believe it anyway.
Basically what the readers of the story said to Doyle. He can't be dead.
Yeah, exactly. It's an example of early toxic fan culture where they're like going, we don't care if you killed him off. You better bring him back. Okay, I'll see what I can do.
Which is why Agatha Christie wrote the final Poirot story and then locked it away in a safe.
Yeah. She saw what happened to Doyle. She knew what was up.
Yeah. Doyle, that's the way Doyle should have been thinking was,
Well, I think I think it's a perfect example of a guy not realizing what he had wrought, right? He didn't realize, I've written a thing that...
he did realize, because that's where the money was coming from.
I mean, that's true, but I don't think he quite realized...
He believed he had creative freedom, and he didn't.
Yeah, I guess that's the thing, where it's like, he didn't realize how much he'd lost control over the thing, and it's just like, it belongs to the public now.
Professor Challenger, guys? Come on.
No, we don't.
When he pitched to the publisher, John Watson, Crime Doctor, he was notoriously laughed out of the office.
Hey, it's on CBS right now.
It's on CBS right now.
Watson. Finally, we got the weight of Holmes off of Watson. That's where we wanted this. Oh boy, that show.
Oh, but Holmes does show up, apparently voiced by Matt Berry. I've never actually watched.
Yeah, but now now he'll be physically played by Robert Carlyle in the second season. They just announced.
Okay.
So
sure.
Yeah, and you're like, that's not a bad choice.
Scottish guy.
Carlyle is Holmes. Sure. Yeah. Okay.
All right. Whatever.
Pocket size.
I'm gonna.
He's reedy, though. I mean,
this movie, soup to nuts, A to Z, with the exception of the accent, is just something I love from the opening credits, where they do little footnotes.
I love the opening.
The opening credits are great. The opening credits that look like they do the footnotes. They've got the art that looks like the illustrated versions of a Holmes novel.
They are.
I had
the
never
Sidney Paget illustration.
When I watched it a bajillion years ago, but the score of the films that we've watched even beats a score I really love a lot, The Private Life of Sherlock Holmes. It's better than that. And dear God, who saw that coming? I knew Sondheim wrote that song because it's a cabaret staple. And anytime somebody mounts like a Broadway tribute to Stephen Sondheim, inevitably this song is included in it because it's a really nice, catchy little number. But how did you guys feel about Georgia Brown not being allowed to sing in this?
I don't know.
I was like, wait, you have somebody who played the music hall singer in Study in Fear?
Well, Samantha Egger is also in this without screaming. So I was like, what?
Let these people do their thing.
To mutant babies that kill?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
No, it was kind of cool to see her and realize, maybe she was sitting there going like, all right, I could be also and they're like, no, Georgia.
Yeah.
But the casting of this across the board,
1,000%.
love it.
Yep.
Great.
And Vanessa Redgrave really doesn't get a lot to do, but she
kills it.
Dude, when she nut clocks that he says warehouse, and then she just goes, "Oh, I think I need my lilies."
Yes.
It's such a great, nuanced move that you really have to be watching, but it's I'll tell you another one. Duvall, for how much I was shitting on his accent.
Well, I don't think the performance is bad. Yeah.
Bit when Arkin says out of nowhere, "Well, that's elementary."
Yes.
And Watson for a second just has the slightest smile. It's
Well, I love where he says, "That's elementary, my doctor." Like he catches himself not saying
all I can say is everyone's great. And then there's Alan Arkin.
Well,
Alan Arkin, I don't care what he's
in. He's one of the best to ever do it.
He comes in, the movie is his.
Yep.
These are great actors he's in the scene with.
Oh,
yeah. Alan Arkin owns every second he's
talk about
screen.
one of one, right?
Fucking Williamson running the table, describing everything in Arkin's office.
Yes.
Or just reading him and saying what
with his hands going all like nervousy.
Yeah. And then Arkin going, "I'd like to hear how you surmised all of that. You're very accurate." Like the way he just keeps coming in like a fucking knife underneath.
Robin,
you'd almost believe he'd come up with the theory of the unconscious.
Yeah.
And
the thing that I think Meyer says in the interview, and Meyer takes credit for. I take him at his word that he was the one who really wanted Arkin. That he said that was my casting pick. And I think what he said is right. Is he goes, because Alan Arkin is the kind of actor that you can just see the gears turning in his eyes. You can see him thinking on screen.
You see him thinking.
He goes, a lot of people can play intelligence, but it's beyond intelligence. Is that you're watching his brain work in close up.
I'll tell you something.
And I'm like,
else.
dead on. Meyer's exactly right.
In a previous IP squad, but it's really rare to see actors, whether they be movie stars or not, thinking in a scene. Like it's really tough. And there are actors like Arkin who do it, who are not like super duper stars. But then there's also guys like Robert Redford or Warren Beatty, where they get given information and you can see it in their eyes. I mean, they don't have to, which is one of the reasons why I think Redford and Beatty, when they have really good material, no one can top them because they don't have to do that.
But at the
Beatty
same,
always looks insecure or questioning. Redford always looks like he has to think something through in character, both of them. And Arkin here, when he is given information, he kind of shifts his eyes off to the right or to the left and then makes his choice or says his line. It is...
What's great also about that character is when he gets included in the Sherlock-y stuff.
He's like a little kid.
The end.
Yes.
That's true. That's the thing, is that he gets out of his element. He's been in his element the whole movie, which is I'm doing the doctor thing and I'm examining and I'm prescribing and I'm hypnotizing. But then when Sigmund Freud is in the middle of, like horses that are going to kill him, or he's on a train and he's... you see him light up like, I can't believe I'm having a boy's own adventure alongside Sherlock Holmes.
The most badass moment in the movie is when he's holding that rifle on the guy and he's like, you don't have the nerve to kill, doctor. And he's like, I'm getting it.
Yeah, it's like, I'm finding it.
I'm finding it. Yeah. And he pulls the hammer. I'm finding it. Yeah. I also love another great Arkin moment that's just a reaction is when Holmes says, you're beginning to think like me, doctor. And you just see him take that in. Like, he's not, but he's like, Like,
he's like, okay, I'll take it.
Because he's been downplaying it the whole movie.
That's the scene where Arkin, out of nowhere, just yells out, I see it all now.
Yeah.
I see every...
Yeah.
Yes.
Because it is... in the early parts of the movie, he's going... Oh, I'm not a detective. I'm just a doctor. I pay attention to information. And then the realization is like, oh, that kind of is detective work.
Yeah, that is exactly what you do. I'll say this is the movie that finally lets us know that his greatest fear, Holmes's, is the penis. And
I do. It is a little bit like, I mean, how could Meyer resist? But like,
sometimes a snake is just a snake, ladies and gentlemen.
But it does. But it is like Meyer being like, well, obviously, if it's Freud, then it's gonna be mother issues and sexuality. So the other thing I didn't
forgotten I remembered when it started. I remembered like, yes, Moriarty is innocent and he slept with Holmes's mom. I kind of remembered that part. I forgot that Holmes's father kills his mother. I was like, wow.
That becomes the quest for justice aspect of it, right? Yeah.
That women are dangerous and cannot be trusted.
It's all very thought out, and something I didn't know until I watched that interview with Meyer is that his father was a practicing psychiatrist, and that's where this all really came from. Is his father passing Sherlock Holmes from
him to Sherlock Holmes and Shakespeare as well.
Right, and so the idea about like tying the psychiatry to the Holmes stuff in his brain.
Here's what I'm willing to bet, though: if that had been the initial inspiration, and if Meyer was like, I'm going to do the research, if it had turned out that Freud's theories had not begun at that point, or that Freud was even born,
he wouldn't have done it.
He would not have done it.
Because he's that much of a nerd.
The time frame of when Holmes went missing for 3 years. And I have a feeling, similar to myself, that when he found that it all locked into place, he was like, yes!
Well, one of the things I do like...
I can do it!
And he says this in an interview, and as I'm I read all of his Holmes books when they come out, and he put one out like last year, but he is very inconsistent with them because he says in the interview, he goes, "Oh, I only write them if I have the perfect idea that's a Holmes story," and I think that that also fits in the timeline. So he's not churning one out a year; he's doing 1 5 years, 10 years, 20 years.
Hits.
He's just like, there you go, that's a Holmes mystery. Idea. Yeah, I love that. That's how precious he is about it, that he's just like, okay, now that I know exactly where to set this, and like he did one that was set in the early days of like where he comes to America, and it's the early days of movies and stuff like that. And once again, he's really tightly, and there's like author's note, this takes place between this mystery and this mystery. He's such a nerd. I mean, I know, believe it or not, a guy whose most of his career is built up of Sherlock Holmes and Star Trek is kind of a huge nerd.
Funnily enough.
Yeah.
What's the last movie he did or wrote?
I don't know. Well, I mean, he's been consulting on Star Trek, but actually like has accredited screenwriting. Yeah. He oversees
the first season of Discovery.
Yeah, and he's doing the con.
No.
The first season of Discovery, he had some consulting on, and he's doing the con, which I've mentioned before. The audio drama that he's doing. But the last credited thing he wrote is something called the Hessen Affair, which was with Billy Zane, who we do love on this show.
Yeah, I stand on Billy Zane.
Maybe you should listen.
That was in 2009. Yeah, he doesn't work a ton on stuff. I did read his book about directing the Star Trek movies. I know everyone's shocked by that. View from the Bridge. He did uncredited.
He's also the father-in-law of Kristen Stewart, who married his daughter, Dylan Meyer, who is a writer-director herself.
Yes. Wow. Yeah. That's kind of nice.
Yeah.
Creative group of people there. I think he does a lot of, from the look of it, he does a lot of stuff that he doesn't get credit for. I think he does punch up and consulting on stuff.
Yeah, I've never worried about him. I'm sure he's
and he still is publishing Sherlock Holmes novels,
And even great screenwriters go out of fashion sometimes.
But I do think it's the fact that he's had to do Con as the audio drama is kind of sad, because he really wanted to do that as a limited event series at Paramount, and they're like, nah. And I'm like, really? A Nicholas Meyer written Con show you're like, it feels a little risky for us. Really?
Who is going to be today's Ricardo Montalban?
Well, I do think the casting in the audio drama of Naveen Andrews as Khan is a great choice, and I think he could do it in live action as well, actually.
Naveen Andrews is dynamite.
And he's actually Indian, which would be a refreshing change for the character, too.
I know.
Yeah. Anyway, but yeah,
this movie's great.
This movie is great.
I really, besides the accent, I have no notes about
the thing I was thinking about this, and I kind of mentioned this when we talked about this. I do sort of feel like, and once again, with the caveat of, I know it wasn't entirely Wilder's fault, but this does feel like it actually succeeds at what Private Life of Sherlock Holmes was trying to get at on a broad strokes level of like investigating the man.
Because this one is a tighter film, and Wilder really wanted this sort of episodic grand thing, which is, for its time or even today, would be like, really? You want to go 4 hours on Sherlock? Okay, buddy.
Well, like we talked about, he was pitching an event series before that concept existed.
Exactly. So, I think this one, and the score I notice as well, mainly because Ross and the script and the score all working together, even though this is delving, at least in the first half, into psychology and addiction and that sort of thing, and that's not what we're suspecting of our Sherlock movie.
Right.
That everything is kind of clicking, where it does feel like dun-na-na-na, dun-na-na-na, dun-na-na-na-na-na-na-na. It feels sort of almost, this is a weird analogy, but it also just goes to how much of my life has been spent reading them. It felt like a graphic novel. It felt like a comic. And I don't mean that in a bad way.
No.
I mean, it just jumps event to event in such a precise way. And there's an underlying energy, even when our hero is in bed is when he's like racked with like nightmarish visions and stuff. And you're like,
that is the thing for as literary.
Beautifully made. I mean, just the costuming and the sets, and I'm like, they
once again handsome.
The production designer was Ken Adams, and I know I'm treading close to a Bond corner here, but Ken Adams. There would be no Spectre volcano there without a Ken Adams.
He is one of the. He is not a name that is bandied about enough for being so influential in the DNA of the Bond franchise, and. I really want the Taschen. I think we've talked about them before. Who does these amazing art books? They have a whole book of just his sketches and set designs that is very expensive. But I really want the Ken Adam art of James Bond
book being expensive.
Yeah, I know that's always the problem with those. But I'm just like, those.
Do I have the 75 years of Marvel Taschen book that cost me almost a full page?
That's my white whale is that Ken Adam Bond production book that is
sweet.
That is gorgeous.
Someone whose white whale currently is the Wes Anderson collection coming out from Criterion. I feel your pain, my friend.
Yeah.
What about the Nightmare on Elm Street 4K box set that's coming out? From
someone on this podcast might have that pre-ordered. I don't know who that would be, though.
I kind of wanted that, and I was like, "Hey, money's getting thin, pal. Back off."
I did pre-order that because, number one, that we're headed towards Campbell and Jones Meet the Slashers. So unfortunately, I'm also a little bit going like, well, that's sort of an investment in the future of the show.
We're up to 2022
of the recordings for the coming out for the patrons. Yeah,
so we're about to be caught up.
Yeah, we're about to be caught up, and then we'll trade monsters for slashers.
When doing your Werewolves Within episode blew me away because I thought I didn't think we would have I didn't think it would come up that quickly. I thought it was going to be another year.
We realized we've been at that podcast for 5 years now. We've been doing that.
You mean like the Bowie song?
Yeah.
Yes, 5 years.
5 years.
Yeah.
Oh man, we should. Well, we can't afford
Campbell and Jones have been doing it for 5 years.
Robin,
we'll have to do our 5th anniversary special.
Doing it over and over again.
He can't not do his David
again.
That's the problem. All right, let's move on.
Can we talk about Joel Grey in this movie? Because I love Joel Grey.
He's there.
I mean, it's like
Joel Grey.
5 minutes of Joel Grey, but you know what? You get every penny's worth of it because Joel Grey is the fucking everyone. It's like you were talking about with Redgrave. I mean, like everybody comes in this movie, even if they're not in it very much. It's a thing I love. And Herbert Ross,
except
for
the Pasha guy, that guy was crap.
That guy
could have played a better Pasha.
What do you think he was? The Turkish Jack Lemmon? Jesus God!
Good. I love that this is now the bit now that just everything is. Is the worst. It went from I kind of don't care for him to Jack Lemmon's the worst actor in the world with Robin. I like that. Yeah, for the purpose of a bit. Yeah,
I like him in the Math House stuff. So
yeah.
don't send too
that
many
chemistry is undeniable. But the thing I was going to say about Ross, and Ross did, I mean, clearly a director who loved actors. You mentioned something like The Last of Sheila. He did do a lot of like ensemble things. So he's very smart and does the kind of thing I love in movies where even small parts are filled with people who are probably slumming it a little bit, but you're like, but you get a Joel Grey in a small part. He's going to make that small part pop in a big way. I love films like that where it's like even the small parts.
What do you guys think of the mighty Charles Grey as Mycroft, huh? That guy.
I love.
I like a Charles Grey.
I like a Charles. Can we
difference is
little 007 corner?
007.
Well, no, we're not doing that yet.
Okay.
I will simply say that for me, he was too old for the part, mainly because he looked to be about the same age as his supposed math tutor. And I'm like,
that's true. Well, do you know who they tried to get for this?
Oh, the Holmes boys. I remember them. One of them was older than me.
They really wanted to get Orson Welles for the Mycroft scene.
And he would have been too old too.
But
too old.
But my God, what he would be so perfectly
a huge guy who never gets out of his chair.
No, he would in terms of being accurate to described in the book. Yeah, Wells, older Wells.
Mycroft in this movie is so concerned about his brother, he gets out of his chair and even gets into a cab. He's
so you guys
worried.
flocked when the Diogenes Club guy goes, a cab,
yes, I like that too. It's like, seriously, you're leaving? Okay.
I agree. He is maybe slightly too old. However, I also love a Charles Gray, and he will go on to play Mycroft in the Jeremy Brett stuff as well, where he's definitely too old, but still great. Still great.
Okay.
Because I love number one.
I agree. I love
hot take. I know another hot take. Those Jeremy Brett Holmes, very good.
Oh, they're good.
Oh yeah, super hot.
And we will get to do one of the movies that he did, because he did a couple feature lengths.
Oh, great.
So we will get to talk about Jeremy. We would be remiss if we didn't touch on Jeremy Brett during this run. Yeah, so I was glad that I did. He did do a couple 90-minute ones.
I will say, as problematic as Nicole Williamson could be in this film, again, this is why I take a little issue with Brennan saying it's like two parts of, two different stories and stuff.
Well, I mean, and to be fair,
he is consistent all the way through, and so the film becomes the story of how someone who has a clear mania issue like that, whether it be cocaine or just traumatic experience.
Cocaine. I love the way the Oh Hello boys say it. Cocaine.
Well,
where John can do some
they're
cocaine.
Doing it here too. It's very British, and you've got very British Robert Duvall saying, "I told him to stop using all the cocaine."
Yeah, actually, we've talked about.
My wife kept going.
The cocaine.
How many different pronunciations of Moriarty are we going to hear?
I will say, Duvall maybe. Yeah, we talk about when we're getting back to him for just a second. We talk about him being so measured and studied. It is a thing where it's like, dude, you've got it. Like, you can calm down. Like, to a certain right. Yeah. It's this thing where it's like he knows that that he's unexpected in this, so he's done too much homework on it. It's so pronounced.
He is great, and he's so much closer to, and we haven't had.
I will say
very
he is
accurate Watson.
And that was Meyer brings that up also in the interview, where he just said one thing Herbert Ross and I were agreed upon is fuck Nigel Bruce. We wanted to do everything to go completely against that. Being the nerd he is, I'm sure he's like, I was incensed by that performance. That it was just like. That was, we were on the same page, and he's just like, then they told me Robert Duvall, and I said, oh my God, could he Duvall?
The wig work in this movie was terrific.
Spot on.
Duvall and Arkin.
A plus wig work.
When they are being action dudes, or when Arkin is playing the tennis match, which Meyer wanted cut.
I know he did, and I think it's number one. It's really well put together.
If you cut this, then you blow that great line during the train chase of his backhand, Holmes.
Yeah,
he has a terrible backhand.
Well, once we were talking about that's something that Meyer retroactively was like, okay, if you're going to insist it's in here, then I'm going to bring it more into the end of the movie than it was in the book.
Which is great. And why would you want to lose that? But
it's a great scene. The tennis match is a great scene.
Terrific.
Yeah.
And really underlines a lot of things about what Freud was up against as a Jewish pioneer
I do think
of psychoanalysis.
I understand.
Jewish and pioneer of psychoanalysis in that day and age.
I understand why Meyer, his impulse was to cut it. Just because, like, on paper, you're like, well, I understand that impulse. However, I do agree with you on that, Robin, is I do like getting that Watson gets that window into Freud's existence there, that it fleshes him out a little more, so that he's not just the wise man curing Holmes.
And just as with Holmes, constantly either being in a mania from cocaine. Or just a mania in general because he has a manic personality.
Yeah.
There is this great, and you guys mentioned a little bit, hand acting.
Oh,
that
amazing
all
hand
actors
acting.
do. Holmes has his like clinching and unclinching, but Arkin and Duvall have this good show kind of fist clinch salute that they do throughout the movie that is so great. Duvall does it in the tennis match, and then Arkin, when he gets thrown the plank of wood, he's like, "Yeah."
I loved. I mean, it's just these little details that are period specific. Watson's punch is full on Queensberry rules.
Yep. Yeah,
it's so of its time period and place. I was like, oh, that's perfect. That's not an American punch. That's a
Yes.
And I loved, speaking of this, one of my favorite moments with Arkin is when he's frustrated and leaves. I think the hospital room or whatever. He's just been. I don't know. Holmes is determined to do something, but he walks out and he does that little. He just goes.
Yeah.
He does a little. And Freud just doing that for half a second, I was like, it's great.
It's why Ross and Meyer, as much as they had some, whatever disagreements, but their mindsets they're both equally detail focused. All the direction. I mean, like, this is a movie where everyone is on the same page. The actors get what's doing. That's why this thing just cooks, is because there's nothing here that is pulling you out of the movie. You are so completely absorbed in this world of Sherlock Holmes, this time period, these characters.
This military man, and so when Holmes is going, I think I said terrible things to you, or maybe it was my imagination. And the way he is standing and smiling at attention.
Well,
the whole time.
And he holds himself. It's the whole movie. He's so rigidly.
The way he holds himself, militarily,
I mean, once again, it's like we can talk about the accent, whatever, but Duvall is killing it because he's an amazing actor, of course. But the other thing too is how much this is in story. Not just is he not Nigel Bruce bumbling, but he also is just this guy's whole life is Sherlock Holmes, and you can see that, and it's killing him to watch him descend into madness. And even the scenes with Samantha Egger as his wife Mary, where she also gets that and is just like, well, you've got to do it. You've got to,
I really like plus I love the thing at the first the opening credits is like Watson's only canonical wife. Anyway, but Mary.
That's when Brendan did a fist clench, right? Right there. He goes, yes.
But the Mary's contribution, even though it's small, it was great because you see that how supportive she is, how she understands that we're still fairly newlywed, but I know how important Holmes is to my husband, and she's like, you've got to do something for him. You're like, yeah, that's great. I love it.
I mean, in some ways, 100%. This was kind of one of the early examples of, and it's not really this, of course, people will, but like the real worlding an iconic character. It's not dark and gritty necessarily, but like going like, let's go one step further beyond just the pop culture icon.
What did you say it was like?
I said like real world. Yeah.
Well, when you were talking about the fan fiction, you said it's non-destructive.
Non-destructive. Yeah.
That's exactly the thing. Is
it's
that
additive.
This movie, no matter how out there its version of
he's not deconstructing Holmes per se. He kind of is.
Take anything away. He's still exactly the guy we know. It's just we're seeing a thing that we hadn't seen before underneath the surface. A lot of people, when they deconstruct, and I've even done it in some of my fan fiction, is you want to kind of break through the icon.
Right.
This leaves the icon intact. We've just seen other layers to it. So that's what's so...
Well, because he breaks him down only to build him back up, right? It's like, okay, I'm going to get harder into the... Because, like, the thing I always think because modern writers love to fixate on the drug addiction, right? But it's like, I don't think Doyle meant him to be a drug addict. He was experimenting with cocaine like a lot of people kind of, I mean, like, I don't necessarily, I mean, and also just the nature of those stories were not personal enough to get into the idea of, is he struggling with addiction, really? But
I will give Doyle this much credit, is that he does address it all the way through, and even at one point has Watson going, finally was able to convince him that it was not healthy for him.
Yeah.
So he never let the thread just dangle.
No, it wouldn't.
He would come
but
back
it wasn't,
to these kinds of things.
It was there, but it was once again, it's like I realized it was not healthy. But here, the modern thing is to seize on that and go, well, why was he doing the cocaine, right? Like that's the thing. And so that's what I like about this is it's not about deconstructing. It's like I'm playing in things that are all there. I'm just going to give you the psychological explanation, and it still ultimately gets back to he's that same guy. The realization at the end of this movie is this is why he's Sherlock Holmes, not, oh, he actually isn't the Holmes you think. No, he absolutely is. We're just learning what drives this guy, and I'm always interested.
Origin story.
In some way, it's kind of has its cake and needs it too, right? It's a sequel and an origin story.
I want cake now.
Well, I always want cake, though. To be fair. But I think that one of the things about Williamson's performance that I love in the second half of the movie is even though he's doing the Holmes stuff, there's such fragility in his performance. He is still not. He is Holmes, but he's second guessing himself, maybe for the first time ever.
Right after his first treatments, and they're like, well, let's try and get out and get some fresh air and stuff. Nicole Williamson. Gotta give him full credit. Again, he's amazing in this.
Oh, no doubt about his talent. I mean, once again, his personality, whatever. The guy was an incredible actor.
The way he's dropped his voice to this much quieter thing, and you can just read his insecurity, where he's like going, "Yes, that might be good." And we've seen him be the brilliant manic Sherlock already in this movie, and now we're like going, oh, he's lost his mojo, and then the rest of the movie is about him getting his mojo back.
Yeah, literally.
Similar to one of the Austin Powers films.
It's the second one where his mojo gets it's Spy Who Shagged Me, where Dr. Evil steals his mojo. It's great. I love.
I think we all, as we all recall.
I love those. Of course, I love those movies. The just they're loving notes.
It's such a complete performance of basically. Here's how his powers are used for evil against himself and this idiot schnook mathematics professor. Yeah. And here's how his powers are used for good against this evil pasha and, an evil baron.
I think it's something that... And I don't even know that Meyer was necessarily the first one. I think he's just the one that dug into it the most. But it's something that will continue in most versions of Sherlock I see, particularly in modern day, which is this is a guy whose brain is always cooking. And so when he doesn't have something to fixate on, it's going to turn inward or towards substances, or he needs an outlet or something, and he's trying to quiet it down. And that's sort of the gift and the curse of being Sherlock Holmes, right? That this movie really gets into.
Yeah. And I will say again, Brendan, I keep picking apart this argument of yours, and I'm sorry, it's not personal, but
I didn't make
that being said, you're wrong.
No, but I believe that this film, story structure wise, is built, written, edited, shot to quasi be a Victorian melodrama, quasi in the style of those romps, of those boys' own adventures, so that we are seeing these real world issues through that prism. When Holmes reveals everything at the end under hypnosis, the way Watson is just, it can barely take being there. And even Freud has to take like a few minutes to just kind of process everything that he's just heard. That it is still through the Victorian prism of that style of adventure story. It is sort of what you have to go through. I've been listening to the BBC full cast adaptations of Sherlock Holmes stories recently, radio adaptations.
Yeah.
And what's fascinating to me, because I literally just listened to Speckled Band the other day, was that they do have to take a few beats where Holmes just speaks on the monstrousness of this plot,
right?
And this film incorporates both the Victorian melodrama kind of structure, an adventure structure, and a boy's own structure, but it mixes it with some of the most Freudian things in the movie, with the speckled band, the trains constantly going through tunnels, like they nearly get knocked off 3 times as they're doing it. And the sword fighting, the tennis game with the tennis rackets, the constant and then like it's never they have the service revolver, but then eventually they need the rifle. Yeah. Well, so it is this amazing organic mix of all of these elements in one thing, and that's, I believe, why the score is the way it is. I think Bernard Herrmann was supposed to do the score, but he died the December before they started shooting. His big idea to Ross was, he said, how about this? We open with the score under the credits, but as the credits are rolling, the camera pushes in on a full orchestra and then narrows down to one violinist, and that is Holmes. And that's what Holmes has been doing, is playing in this orchestra.
That's a great idea.
An interesting idea, but I think I love the opening credits so much that I would hate to replace it with something else. It better be good.
I love those. So one thing though is everything you just said. I won't be speaking to you again. So I hope this.
Oh my God!
This is it, man. This is where it all breaks down.
Eraser.
Yeah.
No, I think the thing that Meyer says in the interview also that I thought was very interesting is he goes, people say it's a Sherlock Holmes movie or novel, and I say no, it's not. It's a story about Sherlock Holmes. He goes, I don't consider what I do Sherlock Holmes stories because that implies certain tropes, which are all in here, by the way. I mean, I did, but he goes, it pins you to a genre. I am writing stories about the character of Sherlock Holmes. I am not writing Sherlock Holmes adventures.
Wow.
And I think that's interesting that to him, that's a real no. He's a guy, he seems, once again, I guess in that nerdy way, in that interview, he's very particular about how things are classified and how things are referred to. It seems to matter to Meyer very, very much.
It should matter.
Well, I mean, here's a guy who, to briefly step into, I mean...
Star Trek Corner?
Star Trek Corner, yeah. The two franchises, anyone who listens to anything know that I obsess over the most are Star Trek and James Bond. The thing that I think is so interesting about him with Star Trek is he came in knowing nothing about it. And that it just speaks to the way his mind works that he was able to shotgun all those episodes and be able to analyze, here's what is at the core of this thing. Is that even not being a fan of it, he is such a smart storyteller that he can see the pieces and go, oh yeah, it's about these 3 guys, and here's what would challenge them, and then I'm also going to bring in that I grew up loving Hornblower, which, to be fair, so did Roddenberry and was a big influence on the show. Yeah, I mean, so that's the thing.
Everybody says, oh, he brought this naval aspect. Yes, but it wasn't going against something that Roddenberry would do.
Except for Gene would have said it was, because he fucking hated Wrath of Khan and always was like, Meyer ruined Star Trek. And you're like, yeah, sure, buddy.
Jeez.
Sure, buddy. He made it too violent and too militaristic. And you're like, yeah, no, he made the best Star Trek movie. Actually, he made my 2 favorite, because I also love 6. I think Star Trek 6 is really
I think 6 is
good.
Great. And I like the script on 4.
The script on 4. The best Star Trek movies are all written by Nicholas Meyer. Let's be honest. No question.
246.
Yeah. 246. Yeah, it's the even ones. But anyway,
there be whales.
And then before I leave Star Trek Corner completely,
I hear a whale song.
I would be remiss if I did not mention Kemp in this movie.
The great Jeremy Kemp.
The great Jeremy Kemp, who did play Robert Picard, Jean-Luc's brother in The Next Generation.
And who is also, as I told my wife last night, oh, that guy's the lead Nazi in Top Secret with Val Kilmer, right?
Which he's great in. He played a few Nazis, I will say.
Oh, yeah.
Because he's got the face.
Yeah.
He's not a Nazi, but he is a German in The Blue Max, which is a movie I enjoy greatly.
With the mighty redoubtable George Peppard.
Yeah, another beloved. Oh, people loved working with Peppard. Yeah.
Wow.
I love George Peppard, despite the fact he was trash as a human
Terrible
being.
human being.
Just a fucking monster.
Yeah, but tell that to my Banachek disc collection.
No,
John.
I also love Banachek.
I think it might have something to say about that.
And I was an A-Team kid. I loved me some A-Team.
Because you love it when a plan comes
I do love when a plan comes together. This movie, though, turning to the box office, this movie was seen as a massive failure financially and critically, which I think is really shocking. The critics savaged this thing.
Only Pauline
Kael was the lone normally if he had written one, I would have read a Roger Ebert review if he had one. He didn't publish a review of this.
Siskel loved it. Siskel gave it 4 out of 4.
Did he?
Yeah, it's on the Wikipedia.
Okay,
they
so Siskel and Pauline Kael.
But John's right. Overall, it was not.
Yeah, I read that and I was like, really? That, I mean, like, I could see the public rejecting it because it's. Although, I mean, they're wrong, but I mean, but I could see like it maybe being slightly too heady for a mass audience in places, or it takes too long to get to. Because as you would say, Robin, the final act is dynamite, no question. The train chase / sword fight / I love a sword fight. Even better if people are fighting on top of a moving train is one of the best things that can happen in film.
This movie and the Great Train Robbery.
Oh, by the way,
dynamite.
Future season of the IP Squad, we are going to be doing a Crichton season, so we'll talk about the Great Train Robbery.
I 100%. If you want an additional person on the Great Train Robbery,
I will see if I can make that work. I believe that's going to be our
talk about it 100.
It's a great movie. It's a great book and a great movie.
It is one of the greatest opening narrations in the history of film.
Yeah.
Okay.
That and the Hudsucker Proxy.
Oh, well, yeah.
You don't get chills when you hear the opening narration of those films.
No,
I'm thinking about it right now. I'm getting choked up.
No.
That's how much I love the Great Train.
All right, moving on.
Let me talk about what people were seeing in 1976. Do you guys remember?
Rocky?
Rocky is the #1 movie of 1976.
Yeah, didn't we do this already?
Did we do?
No, 76 was we did Sherlock Holmes in New York, which was TV.
Right.
Oh,
so
that's
Rocky,
right, that's
second highest grossing movie. A movie I forget was as successful as it was the Barbra Streisand A Star Is Born.
Oh,
yeah. Which here's my hot take. I don't really like any of those particularly.
Well, that's a pretty hot take. I think that
I like the James Mason one the best.
I like the James Mason one for James Mason.
Yeah, but I'm not. That story doesn't grab me as much as it seems to grab other people.
The original Star Is Born with Frederick March and Janet Gaynor was the first Star Is Born I ever saw, and they showed it in school.
Interesting.
As like we're about to leave for the summer, and they just needed something to take up time.
But I was a lone dissenter. I felt like amongst a lot of people that I did not care for the Bradley Cooper version, which people just fawned over.
I never watched it.
I found it to be. Brendan, did you see it?
I didn't see it. I wasn't really interested.
No, I did. Yeah. I bought all the hype, and I went and saw it, and I was like, I thought it was
greatest film of our age.
I will say I think Bradley Cooper is an immensely talented guy. I think he's very bad at directing himself. I think he goes way too hard. I think he does too many capital A acting choices. He's doing voices and stuff, and I'm just going like, yeah, like when Guillermo, like I think he's fucking amazing in Nightmare Alley. When you have Guillermo del Toro directing,
great Nightmare Alley.
I think he's incredible in that.
He is.
I think he's absolutely fantastic in Licorice Pizza as John Peters. I think that's one of my favorite performances of his.
Watch that again.
He's so good in that. Anyway, speaking of John Peters, A Star Is Born. I bet you guys saw 1976's King Kong. I have a feeling you saw.
God, yes.
And we've done the joke many a time on here that when the monkey dies,
and I did why
you'll cry
when that monkey died.
Because you'll cry when the monkey dies.
I will tell you this: first time I ever saw Charles Grodin in a movie.
And actually, I will say that movie is whatever really good cast. I think the three leads in particular are fantastic.
Sure. You got Grodin against a giant gorilla.
Yeah, and you
First
got.
time I ever saw, I can remember seeing Renee Auberjonois in it.
Not gonna get into Star Trek corner about that, but the best.
This day, one of my favorite scenes of that movie is Renee Auberjonois telling Grodin that his idea that there would be oil on that island is about 1 billion years off.
Yeah, I have a certain.
He just starts laughing at him. It's one of the great. Oh man,
I kind of like that movie, even though it's not great, of course. But I do have a certain affinity for that movie.
Sure.
In fourth place, though, is a movie I adore, which is Silver Streak. Of course, Gene Wilder, Richard Pryor, and Silver Streak, great movie. And in fifth was All the President's Men, which of course, is the classic. It is.
Brennan and I saw that opening day.
Did you?
Yep.
Yeah. No. I was 11.
Yeah, I was gonna say maybe a little slow for, because I will say
76. I'm 7 years old.
Yeah, and you're not going to All the President's Men, because
we were there.
I do like that movie, but I will say it is exhaustive in its procedural nature, which is one of the things I like about it. But it is not a lightning-paced film.
No.
Consciously, it is. Yeah. And then I'll just mention that also in the top 10 was The Bad News Bears, which I just rewatched a couple days ago because it's the best.
We saw that in the theater.
Yeah.
No, I didn't.
Didn't we?
I just
was it maybe the next one?
What? Maybe the next one.
I rewatched it a couple days ago. I hadn't seen it in a long time, and I rewatched it, and I just love how grimy it is. I just love that it's like kind of a nasty. It's a kids movie, but it's a nasty little thing. And
it's not really a kids movie.
No, it's that's why I'm saying it's a kids movie on paper, but
they got kiddier once they.
The sequels
and
are.
You had Breaking Training.
Was it Japan? Was Tony Curtis? I think by then he was.
Japan was Tony Curtis, and Breaking Training was William Devane.
Yeah, and that's the thing is, I like both of those guys.
Haley's
I do like that.
I
do like that by the third movie, Jackie Earle Haley's still on the Little League team. And he's 25.
Yeah.
Anyway, that first one though, and then when they remade it with Billy Bob, as much as I love Billy Bob, you can't go home again, man. On something like that,
trying to make a bad Santa, but
no, it was just what else could he be bad in, right?
Math. It's one of the great Mathau movies.
One of the great. You really need that hangdog, drunken Mathau. Anyway, let's talk about some highs and lows, and then we'll get out of here. All right. This comes to us from Sylvester Fox 007. I can only imagine he's a fan of 007 Corner.
Maybe.
What if he's like 00 what? I don't.
00 what?
I just like the number 7.
They just described. They gave me the number.
Yeah, I don't have nothing. Anyway, all right. The review is titled "A Perfect Tribute to Sir Arthur Conan Doyle." From the opening to the closing credits filled with illustrations that originally accompanied Doyle's stories in The Strand, the details of the movie are painstakingly accurate compared to those in the canon. This is one non-canonical Holmes story that exists in the same world as Sir Arthur Conan Doyle's Sherlock Holmes. The movie takes the liberty of assuming that all of Dr. Watson's accounts of Sherlock Holmes are true except for one. That would be the final problem, and then he talks about what the plot of the final problem is, which we don't need to talk about, because we all know. The settings and characters ring true to both Doyle's mysteries and the Sidney Paget illustrations that accompanied them. Holmes' deerstalker and cloak, though never mentioned by Doyle, look more like Paget's illustrations than ever before, more rugged than in most film interpretations. I do agree, actually, on that point, I should mention. I do really we talked about the costuming a little bit, but yeah, it does feel worn as opposed to him wearing a costume that you would, Yes, like him putting on the superhero costume of Sherlock Holmes. American actor Robert Duvall, despite sometimes struggling with the British accent, everybody has to mention it, portrays... I don't think he ever struggles. Once again, I think he overcommits. I
don't think he struggles. I think he over-enunciates.
Yeah. Portrays Watson as intellectually and physically fit comrade for Holmes, not a bumbler. Laurence Olivier's Professor Moriarty matches the vision of... Well, that's not quite true.
No, he looks... to that guy's point, I think what he's saying is he looks like the illustration. And we didn't really talk about Olivier very much. I thought Olivier was on fire from the first scene. I think it's
of course.
Well, I mean,
probably the best.
That guy can act.
Yeah, I think we left aside too because it's like, and then Laurence Olivier,
kills as usual.
One of the greatest. I think is so interesting is though he could have been a full-on Moriarty because you see something like Marathon Man and you realize that man was capable of being absolutely fucking terrifying.
Right, and then the Holmes Lynchian hallucinations, when they keep cutting to his just stone face staring at him, it's you see what if he had played a canonical Moriarty, what it would have been.
The inclusion of lesser-known characters like Mycroft and Toby we didn't talk about Toby. I did like the inclusion of Toby the Bloodhound.
Oh, Toby's great.
And once again, Meyer, and it's in the book too, being like, and you all remember Toby from when he helped us out on this case, I know,
I love that.
Yeah, that's the best.
Meyer almost has a bottom of the comic panel.
Well, if you read his books, there's tons of footnotes and as seen in this. I mean, it really is it's so so nerdy. Anyway. There are also references both direct and slide to canonical Holmes stories. While Nicole Williamson's performance as Sherlock Holmes lacks the vigor and spark of Basil Rathbone or Christopher Plummer, Williamson succeeds in showing Holmes as a troubled individual rather than a god. The movie mixes drama, subtle humor, mystery, and even action, finally showing Holmes as the capable fighter he was in the canon. The end of the film strays from the books in order to explore the uncharted territory of Holmes' childhood, providing a deeply moving climax. This may come truer to Sir Arthur's original vision than any other pastiche written for film so far, largely thanks to the efforts of writer-director, Nicholas Meyer, soon-to-be director, but yeah, it's obvious in every scene that Meyer has a great love
007.
For the writings of Arthur Conan Doyle. 10 out of 10 stars. I will say, he was on set every day, and he talks about that in the interview, that he was wanting to direct, and that Ross let him be there every step of the way to shadow him, and also was there, of course, to throw in a line or two should it be needed.
Right.
But there's no question he credits a lot that he learned a lot from being around Ross, and will eventually. I think this Time After Time, the first one he directs. I think.
Time After Time is the first one he directs. It is him.
God, I love that movie
reading
too.
A manuscript a friend from college was writing, and loving it, and saying, "Hey, how about I adapt it now?"
Yeah.
And
then
what the friend did was he watched or read the script, and then realized that it would help him finish his book to use elements that Meyer had already put in. And so it's a true collaboration between those two guys. And I love that movie. It's so good.
All right, here we go. Let's hear a differing opinion. This comes to us from Moonspinner55.
Okay.
Who titles the review "Talent Everywhere, but Film is Barely Formidable."
Wow.
Director Herbert Ross enjoyed several commercial successes, but never really gained the respect of the industry. Perhaps it was all those seemingly undemanding Neil Simon comedies.
Oh, Jesus Christ!
I like those Neil Simon comedies, but whatever.
Yeah, he's probably the best interpreter of Neil Simon's work.
I will say I do feel like, and I've running in the theater circles I've run in, it's very hip to bag on Neil Simon.
Mm-hmm. It's also hip to be
I get it. Here, there, and everywhere.
Brian. Yeah. So gathering a top drawer cast like this must have been quite a boost for Ross, and the delicious possibilities behind a meeting of Master Sherlock Holmes and Dr. Sigmund Freud were endless. Unfortunately, Ross's crack comic timing gets lost in the woodwork in his quest to make the film more formidable, and the results are sedate in the worst way. He goes on to describe the plot a little bit. Alan Arkin is totally miscast as Freud, giving what may be his least convincing performance ever.
God damn, John.
You're dead to me, guy.
Ever, didn't you?
He approaches the part like a giddy kid playing dress-up, and his over-enunciation is theatrical and phony. Nicole Williamson is serviceable as Holmes, but all his sweating and shaking is a terrible drag on the action. This is really Robert Duvall's picture, giving us a more robust Watson, and yet Duvall's narration seems to be there just to fill in the gaps. Herbert Ross only gets inventive during one sequence, a series of cocaine withdrawal nightmares, and even then he carries out the montage for far too long, so the audience quickly becomes indifferent. There's a lot of talent here, but the results are stodgy and plotting with ugly art direction and uninteresting character chatter. 2 out of 10 stars.
Oh, this guy.
What is the name of this moron again? This
Moonspinner 55.
Okay, Moonspinner 55. I'm going to say it right now. If I ever meet you, I'm going to punch you as hard as I can in your throat.
Yeah.
I would love the idea of you randomly meeting this guy and him just casually mentioning, I actually write reviews on IMDb as Moonspinner 55, and you're like, you, Jacques.
And I will use the Queensberry rules.
Yeah, I will say
that this person doesn't have too much to fear if Robin's going to hit him as hard as he can.
Oh, shut up!
So Moonspinner 55.
I gotta say, I'm looking, as I often do.
I've gone from having the muscle tone of wet pasta to having the muscle tone of hard pasta. So you tell me. You tell me.
I will say,
he's old and brittle.
Moonspinner 55. I will just say, scrolling through their IMDb profile, dislikes a lot of movies I like, so I'm not shocked. Anyway,
just like the moons.
I'll just say we would definitely disagree with his takes on the Richard Lester Three Musketeers movies as well.
I just got that from Criterion.
Yeah, I think all of us have it because you got it too, right, Brendan?
What now?
You got the Three Musketeers Criterion set?
Oh, Lester, hell yeah!
Yeah, we've all got it because that was a must own. They're the best.
You get that? Are you kidding me with this?
They're so fun. Anyway, speaking of fun, next week is going to be a bit of a lark for us because we're going to watch
fantastic.
What will be weirdly the first time we're covering The Hound of the Baskervilles, but it's going to be a slightly different take with our friends Peter Cook and Dudley Moore in The Hound of the Baskervilles.
Oh, Shell, my darling, quit calling me that, mother.
I have not seen this in 20 plus years. So
yeah, it's
we'll see.
I mean, I love those guys. Obviously, Cook and Moore are the best.
It's very zany. They managed to incorporate some of their old sketches into the movie somehow.
It does feel like from the outset. It does feel a little bit like, why not?
Why not?
Yeah,
I guess. And I gotta say, a brisk 78 minutes, which I greatly appreciate.
Yeah.
Don't overstay your welcome on a zany thing like that. Anyway,
that'll be Kenneth Williams and Terry Thomas and
a great group of British comedic actors in there. So
if you must watch one Paul Morrissey comedy.
If you absolutely have to,
That's next.
That's next week on the show. But until then, the case file is closed.